Hello Year 3, it's Friday, which means it's time for our arithmetic test. You will need a pencil, a piece of paper and a positive attitude. You have 10 minutes to answer 10 questions. So grab a timer if you can find one on an iPad, phone, watch, whatever you have available. You might need to use the column method for addition or subtraction. You might need to use the bus stop method or the grid method for multiplying and dividing. And remember to think about how you add or subtract fractions with the same denominator. These may come in handy today. First, we're going to go over some questions just to refresh our memories on our methods. So we're going to start with recapping the column method. We're going to start with our ones. As you can see, I've only drawn my first line for both of my column methods. I haven't drawn all the lines because that's where a lot of us get kind of confused when we're looking at all the different lines. So instead, I've just done the one line and then I can do the rest as when I need to. So let's start with the ones. 9 add 6 is 15. 15 is 5 ones and 1 10. So I've got 15. Now I'm going to do the tens. It's 7 tens add 4 tens. 7 tens add 4 tens is 11 tens. 11 tens is 11 times 10, which is 110. Then 500 add nothing is 500. Now I can draw my line because I've done my workings out. So there's my other two lines because it's your workings out and then your answer. Okay, so we've got 5 add 0 is 5. 1 add 1 is 2, add 0 is still 2. 1 add 5 is 6. So the answer is 625. For our next one, we've got 307, take away 185. Pay attention to whether the question is asking you to add or subtract. We're going to start with our ones. As always, we always start with our ones. This is due to the fact that we may have to exchange and it will completely mess our answers up if we do need to exchange. So 7 take away 5 is 2, so we put a 2 in the ones column. 0 tens take away 8 tens. We can't do that, so we're going to have to knock next door. And we are going to exchange 100. So we're going to have 200 left in this one because we're exchanging 100. I'm putting that 100 over here. So now it looks like 10 tens, which is 100. So let's take this as 10 tens. So 10 tens take away 8 tens is 2 tens. 2 tens is 20. Now we've got 200 take away 100 is 100. Now we can draw our lines because this is where our answer goes. And this part is adding, remember, because we're adding all our answers together. So 2 add nothing is 2, 2 add 0 is 2, and 1 add nothing is 1. So it's 122. Now we're going to recap the bus stop method. The bus stop method is what we use when we are dividing large numbers, such as 2-digit numbers that aren't already in our times tables. We can easily do 12 divided by 2, which 12 is a 2-digit number because we know that's in our 2 times tables. But bigger numbers such as 64, they get a bit trickier, and that's when the bus stop method is needed. So we start by drawing our bus stop. Nice and simple. Now, the number we are dividing by is the one that always goes on the outside. So there's our 2. And the number we are dividing goes in the bus stop. There we go. We start by drawing our tens. There are 6 tens, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we draw our ones. There are 4 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now remember, we always draw our tens as lines and our ones as either little dots or circles or even little squares, so they're little. And then we group, so we are dividing, so we group it up into 2 because that is what we are dividing by. So 1, 2 in a group, 1, 2 in a group, 1, 2 in a group. And now we do the same with our ones, 1, 2 in a group, 1, 2 in a group. We have 1, 2, 3 groups of tens. It's got a bit funny, there we go. And we've got 1, 2, groups and in our 1. So that means our answer is 32. Now we're going to try the next one. 78 divided by 3. So I'm going to draw my bus stop method. Here we go. We're dividing by 3, so 3 goes on the outside, and the number we're dividing is 78, so that goes inside our bus stop. We start by drawing our tens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we can draw our ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now we can group. So you've got 1, 2, 3 in a group, 1, 2, 3 in a group, and we've got 1 by itself. We're going to have to exchange it. I'm going to start by putting down how many tens I've got, how many groups. So I've got 1, 2 groups in my tens column, so I can put 10 there. And now we're exchanging that, so we're going to cross it out. We're going to remind ourselves that we're exchanging a 10 by putting it here in the ones column to show that we've moved it over here. And now we're going to draw out 10 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now it's time to group again. We're going to have 3 in a group. 8, 9, 10. Sorry, I forgot to add the 10. That was silly. Now we're going to put 3 in a group. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 groups, and each of them has 1, 2, 3 in a group. And we can double check we've got this right, because 3 times 6 is 18. 18 divided by 3 is 6. So we know we've done our maths right with our drawings. So the answer is 26 altogether. And similarly, when you're dividing by 2, you can double check you got it right because you've halved the original number if it starts with an even number. It gets a bit more tricky if you have to exchange. Well done. We use the grid method when we are multiplying large numbers that may be a bit trickier. This could be 2-digit numbers that aren't in the 2 times tables, or 3-digit numbers. Now with our grid method, we always have our times sign up in the top corner, and then we've got 2 columns in this one because we're dealing with a 2-digit number, and we've got 3 columns in this one because we're dealing with a 3-digit number. Okay, so I'm going to start with the first one, which is 52 times by 2. We start by partitioning. I'm going to partition 52 into a 50 and a 2. And we are timesing by 4. So I'll put a 4 down there. Now we're going to do our super secret 0 step, where we move our secret 0 down here, which makes the maths a bit easier for us for the time being. So now we can look at it as 4 times by 5 and ignore the 0 for a second. 4 times by 5 is 20, so we'll pop a 20 down, which shows us that actually 4 times by 50 is 200. So it's helped us with our maths. And now we can do 4 times 2, which is 8. Sometimes you may want to use the column method when you're adding trickier numbers, and sometimes it might be a bit easier. This one I don't think we'll need a column method for. We just need to do 200, add 8, which is 208. And that is our answer. Now we're going to move on to the next one. It is the same thing whether it's a 3-digit number or a 2-digit number. We still start by partitioning. So we're going to have 100, 90 and 8. And we are timesing by 3. So I'm going to pop our 3 down here. We're going to do our secret 0 step now. And if you've got 2 zeros, you have to bring 2 zeros down. If you've got 1 0, bring 1 0 down. So far we've had no difference really in the 3-digit number and a 2-digit number. It's no scarier when there's a 3-digit number. Now we can look at this as 1 times by 3. 1 times by 3 is 3, which means 3 times by 100 is 300. Now it's time to move on to the tens column. We've got 9 because of our secret 0, and we are timesing by 3, which is 27, which means that 3 times by 90 is actually 270. And now we can do 3 times 8, which is 24. Now it's time to add it all together. I find that this is a bit of a trickier one, so I would probably use the column method. That would be my advice to you. So I've got 300, 270 and 24, and I've got my add sign, so I remember that I am adding them. I'm going to start by doing my ones. We always start with our ones, don't we? So we got 0 add 0 add 4 is 4. We've got 0 tens add 7 tens, it's still going to be 7 tens. Add 2 tens is 9 tens, which is 90. And then we can do our hundreds. 300 add 200 is 500. We're not adding any more hundreds, so it's just 500. Oh, my 5's got a bit crazy. 500. 4 add 0 is 4. 9 add 0 is 9. And 5 add nothing is 5. So my answer is 594. Ta-da! Finally, we're going to recap finding fractions of an amount. So it means you have to find the fraction and then you get given an amount. So in this case, it's 1/3 of 30. Now we do this by using the bar model. Bar model is a rectangle and it's split in half, like so. Now our top half is where we put the amount, which in this case is 30. There we go. And our denominator from our fraction shows us what this part we split into. In this case it's 3. Now my handy little trick for you is when you're drawing the lines, if you want to split into 3 groups, and you always do one less line. So if you're drawing 3, you draw 2 lines. If you want 4 groups, you draw 3 lines. If you want 5 groups, you draw 4 lines, etc, etc. So we need to draw 2 lines, and there you go, 1, 2, 3. I've split into 3 evenly. And now we need to think of our 3 times table. What is 30 divided by 3? It is 10. So I pop a 10 in each column. I can double check I'm right because 10, 20, 30. This equals the top number. The whole bottom equals the whole top. So this is 30 and this is 30. Right, now we need to look at the numerator. The numerator tells us how many thirds we need to look at. Is it 1/3, 2/3 or 3/3? In this case it's 1. So I just need to circle 1. And that is 10. So my answer is 10. 1/3 of 30 is 10. Now we're going to look at 2/5 of 25. So we start by drawing our bar model, which is our rectangle, which is in half. There we go. And our top number is going to be our whole, which is 25. Our bottom number is what we're dividing by. We are divided by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. Let's first split this into 5 parts. Remember, you need to draw one less line. So if I want 5, I'm going to draw 4 lines. There we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because I drew 4 lines. 25 divided by 5 is 5, so there's a 5 in each column. There we go. We can double check we did that right because 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Yes, we did do that right. Now here's the important part. We need to look at our numerator. This time it's a 2, which means we need to circle 2. 2 5s, so 5 add 5, or 5 times 2 is 10. So our answer is 10 because we had to circle 2 of our 5s. It's now time for you to complete your arithmetic test. You've got 10 minutes to answer the 10 questions. I'm going to read them all to you through once. You can pause the video and give them a go. Number 1 is 548 take away 300. Number 2, 4 times 20. Number 3, 3 times 6 equals something times 2. Number 4, something equals 199 take away 7. Number 5, 96 divided by 8. Number 6, 471 take away 100. Number 7, 8 times 10. Number 8, 689 add 300. Number 9, 3/15 add 9/15. And number 10, 903 take away 368. Here are your answers. How did you do?